name's Tim Valentine. I'm a team Beachbody coach. Been a Beachbody coach for about 1.5 to 2 years. And with my first couple of workouts I did with Beachbody P90X and Insanity, one of the new tools that started working with were resistance bands. Before those workouts, I'd never used them. And so what I've been doing the last couple of weeks is I've been going through some of the considerations you need to take in mind when you use resistance bands. Different types of resistance bands, different ways to manufacture them. And today I want to talk a little bit more about proper use of a resistance band and care and those types of things. And you would think this would be pretty much a no-brainer. I mean, they're just a rubber band. All you do is pull them and they snap back. And, that's part of the problem. They are like a rubber band. They're made out of latex. So if you're allergic to latex, you probably should not use resistance bands in your workout. You'll get sick. Also, as you pull them and you just let them go, they'll snap. And, that they can bounce around. You could snap and, hurt yourself. If you have hard handles, they could land on the concrete floor and break, and pieces could fly all over. So there's a lot of safety concerns there. So you need to be mindful of those. So let me go through and list a few of them just to kind of cover some of those. First off, they're not a toy, so don't allow your children to play with them, and they're not good for your pets to chew on. So if there's any kind of damage, discoloration, nick, or anything like that in the tubing, then you don't want to use them. They're not that expensive. Don't take the chance to get an injury because the band breaks while you're using it. Don't stretch the band more than 2.5 times its length. So if you've got a really short band and you're a really tall person, you should go look for a vendor who provides longer bands. And the next video I'll cover manufacturers, different ways to manufacture the bands, and also where you can go get bands with different lengths so that you can get a band that is suited for your height and for the exercises that you want to do. So that's coming up next. You should never have two people use a band at the same time, so you don't want to start a tug of war with a band. Somebody lets go of it and that thing's going to fly and smack you in the face. Not a good thing. It's just like a missile. If you've been snapped with a rubber band, they're pretty small. These resistant bands are much bigger, much heavier, and their impact is far more painful. So you really want to be careful that you want to do that. They're not really designed for outdoor use. You should always use a good pair of shoes with don't use one with a real rough sole on them. I use one that have black soles, and so I marked all my bands are all marked up with black because of the sole on those shoes. Now I use a nice smooth-soled tennis shoe, got a soft sole, so it doesn't damage the band when I work out with them. Watch the rings. Long, sharp fingernails can damage the band, so be careful with fingernails. And also, there's a whole list of things, and I'll have a blog post where I'll list a few more of those items. So if you don't catch them all in the video, just go click the link below the video here, and then you can go read about them in my blog. I'll have them all laid out there for you. The other thing with accessories, and this is kind of important because this is one mistake that I made, and I have an accessory that it's a little canvas piece about that long, and one end is a loop, and on the other end is a little ball, and you stick that in your door. It's a door attachment, and you put it in the door, and you make sure the door is secure. And I had a fairly snug fitting door, at least I thought. There was a little bit of a slack there, but not too much. I didn't think that thing would pull through, and I started doing a real heavy set of pull-ups, and the thing pulled through the door. And that little ball came through came flying at me like a pellet or round out of shotgun, and hit me square in the chest. And my chest was black and blue for about 3 or 4 weeks because of this. And it hurt. It really hurt. And if I hadn't been already, on my knees doing the workout, it would have knocked me off my feet and on the floor and caused even more injury. So I made that mistake, and I really don't want you to make that mistake. So make sure that if you're using a door attachment, that thing is secure, that your door is tight, and you really should have little or no gap between the frame of the door and the door where your attachment is fitting in. There's a number of other ones. I've got one that's a little more secure now. It wraps right around the hinge. It's not going anywhere. Just make sure that it's made out of a canvas webbing. Just make sure that webbing is not damaged. There's no loose threads or anything like that on it, and you should be fine. just don't make that mistake. The other thing to look for, there's a number of these door attachments. I looked at my favorite sporting goods store, and they range from price from $2.99 for the one strap that would go around the hinge, and then up to like $5 or $6 for the type with the little ball on the end, and then some of them had a nice little sleeve on them that would help protect the band, and those would be the ones to get, because you want to protect that band from any kind of damage. You don't want it to get damaged while you're working out, and so don't go cheap on these things. If you have any damage at all, just throw the thing away, go get a new one, go get a replacement. If you use bands a lot, you may want to just kind of keep rotating them through on a regular basis. There really isn't like a time duration. I think there's kind of a use you'll feel as you use them that they'll start losing their tension, and that's a good sign that you should probably start thinking about getting rid of them. The other thing, if you want to clean them, just get a soft cloth and a little warm water and just kind of wipe them down. Don't use any soap on them. You could damage the elasticity in the latex. Also, don't leave them lay in the sunshine. Don't get them in extreme temperatures one way or the other. If it's too cold, they'll turn brittle, and they'll lose their tension and their elasticity that way too. If it happens over time, too hot, same kind of thing. So those are all things to keep in mind. And like I said, I'll have this list on my blog post, so you can go there and read through those. And most manufacturers, at least the ones that I have gotten where I purchased bands from, will have a little pamphlet that comes with this as safety considerations or care and use of the bands. I would read that through and make sure, if you've never used bands before, I would read that through and make sure that you've got all those accounted for. It's a little bit surprising. You wouldn't think that somebody with sharp fingernails would have a problem with bands, but I guess there's been cases where somebody's fingernail has nicked the band and the band has failed on them while they're working out. So always good to be safe. Better safe than sorry. And like I said, these things aren't that expensive. If you've got one that's damaged or a little bit warm, you just get rid of it, get yourself a new one. No problem, better safe than sorry. And then the next video, I will be doing one on manufacturing processes. There are some processes that are better than others, and there's a couple of good vendors that I found. Bands aren't cheap, but they're good bands and they last a while. And if you're really somebody who's going to really get into your workout and stretch them, you will want to get higher quality bands, and I'll point those out and those vendors, and I'll let you know that information on the next video. Till then, have a good workout. Enjoy your bands.